Hey, this is BJ, and this is the story of the infinite being space dragons in the vision I had coming to Earth. And it was in an Ayahuasca ceremony ran by a shaman. Now, part of the ceremony is you go into it with intentions, and my intentions were to ascend my physical body, to ascend this physical reality. So after about 15-20 minutes taking the brew on a fasting stomach, I entered a dreamlike meditative state and entered into another world where I started to transform, literally shapeshift myself and grow into an over 20-foot long big golden dragon. And so I'm no longer human. I'm now a dragon, and I'm flying over forests. And then I start to remember being a dragon and having remembrance of being an infinite being. And I'm literally then telepathically connected to and communicating to literally thousands and thousands of dragons in outer space simultaneously, like each linked up, not like bi-location, like multi-location, like in true telepathic form. I'm like in all these places simultaneously. And these dragons basically follow a gigantic mother-like dragon, and she kind of looks like this giant slug dragon the size of planets, the size of moons. And she's followed with all her children dragons, literally thousands of them swarming around here. And she travels the galaxy or the universe to planets that are ready to harvest. And what she does is she'll come and she will, in a way, kind of coil on top of the planet as literally thousands of dragons ascend for the harvest of the planet. Now, I'm also remembering at this time being involved in harvest and literally eating human flesh, eating women and children. And to a dragon, it is not looked at as in any way negative, because this is part of the harvest. And they know that humans have the potential of being infinite beings. And so when the dragons come to harvest the planet, there's actually a graduation of a sort that happens to the inhabitants that are ready to ascend. They will literally become infinite beings themselves and shapeshift into their dragon form and be reborn. And then a large portion of the planet is completely harvested for its energy. And then there's what's left behind is literally like caretakers, like the sustainable people who are one with the land that can help start the new harvest. Now, what the dragons do to prepare the earth or the worlds that they harvest is they put in control of the world other shape-shifting infinite beings, but these shape-shifting dragons are basically like the farmers of the planet. And so their job is to get the planet ready to harvest time with the hope of as many ascensions as they can create. And what's happening then, I saw visions of what's happening on our planet, and literally, like I said, I was telepathically communicating to thousands of dragons, and literally I was connected to dragons that are deep underground Earth, some who are being tortured by the dragons or reptilians that control our planet. Now, what I also saw in this vision is that the reptilians that control this planet, or shapeshifters, they do not want to give up their harvest. It's like they work so hard for it, and they don't want the infinite mother to come and create the ascension. They want to keep the harvest for themselves. And so, because they do not have anywhere near the magnitude of power or infiniteness of the mother dragon and the dragon swarm, that is the whole reason why, and I saw this all in my vision, that they were creating a new world order, and they had to create this new world order before she came back in the hopes that they could unite the whole entire world, and then using space age weapons. And this is the whole point of the weaponization of space. And this is why, the whole reason why we're weaponizing space is not to fight each other, it's to fight something that they know is coming back. And they're hoping that they could stop the harvest. So the whole goal is the ones in control are going to create the New World Order, create a one world system, and then tried to basically militarize the world against this incoming threat to their harvest. But now the dragons, as I remembered, are infinite beings and cannot die. So what they can do is go through literally a phoenix-like rebirth. Is they will literally burn up and they become a new egg to be reborn. And this happens anytime they die for any reason, in any form. They will always be reborn because they're multi-dimensional too as well. So they can shift out of view, shape shift, everything. And literally, like, when I was telepathically communicating to one of the dragons being tortured underground, I was like, please, just go back. Just be reborn. Just stay in your eggshell shape. Stay in the egg until we can free you. And so literally, the mother dragon is... I'm sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked. I've tried to make this video several times now and keep getting interrupted, but... to go into like the military aspect, if you look at the U.S. military, and these are some patches, and you'll notice so many of them have to do with, and these are top secret ones. Here's one for Area 51. You have the 5 and the 1, and of course another dragon holding the world, and I forget what that says. I've learned it before, but you'll find tons of these patches from all sorts of different military psyops. Here's one with the serpents holding the world, and you'll see other people who have videos on these, and basically what I saw was that when the harvest comes, those who can just not be afraid and enter the egolessness, the infiniteness, and not be attached to being human, those who can literally, what I saw happening was when the harvest actually literally came, I had to literally die to be released essentially from this body into my infinite being, into my full shape-shifting form. And trying to think of anything I might have missed. I'll try to do another video about ayahuasca for those who don't know. By far my favorite entheogen, but I'm not saying too that this is literally going to happen. It could be an etheric thing, but this is a complete vision I had, and my only intention was to ascend physical reality, and I sure enough did it. And then to just further, during the ceremony, after the vision had ended, I still stayed in a meditative state, and I literally started to feel like my jaw disconnect, my shoulders bulge out, my fingers starting to grow, my hands and feet, and I was starting to get afraid because I'm in a ceremony with like 25 people, and a lot of them are my friends, and I was afraid that I was literally going to go through this shapeshift at that time, and that I was going to possibly eat most of them, and if not, scare them and completely... nothing that I wanted to do, because that is not the intention. Like I said, the infinite beings have an awareness of humans' infinity. So they don't look at harvest and death in any way like we look at harvesting and death. They look at it completely as just another cycle, like it takes thousands of lives to even reach the ascension. So they don't even think about it as anything other than just part of the cycle. And if you do not ascend this time, you will have to wait for the next harvest on this place, which would be in, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of years, or I don't know the exact number. But it was the most profound and theogenic experience I've ever had. It's kind of just one of those things like, is it real? Is it really going to happen? It all made sense. And for those who don't know, Freeman Fly had actually a drawing he drew when he was 10 years old, something similar, where basically there was a kind of like a giant dragon coming through a wormhole, and he had drawn, I don't know, you have to just look up, if you don't know who Freeman Fly is, get to know him, but got some great stuff out there. But alright, aloha from Hawaii, and Namaste.